Hello, this is Blaine Bartlett, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of The Hidden Laws of Leadership. In this particular episode, we're going to be looking at the hidden law of what I call creative constraint. Creative constraint, one way to think about this, and it's a metaphor, is it's the mechanism by which, and it's the phenomena by which coal gets transformed into diamonds. Now, what do I mean by that? That's what I want to look at here. Constraints. Every organization deals with constraints of some sort. Resource constraints, cash constraints, personnel restraints, raw material constraints, whatever it may be. There's not an organization that exists or has ever existed that has a surfeit of all the resources it ever needs. Constraints exist. What we do with them makes a difference. And in my experience, most organizations get stymied by the restraints or the constraints that they run into. And you'll hear it in the language that people use when they are looking at doing things that they've never done before. Well, we can't do that because, and then just fill in the blank. And it's the story, the reason, the excuse for why things can't get done. Oftentimes it is cash. Oftentimes it is skills. Oftentimes we don't have enough people, those sorts of things. These constraints exist. And this is a hidden leadership law, creative constraint, because from a leadership perspective, it makes a difference where you land in terms of your acceptance of the reasons, stories, and excuses for why things can't get done that are offered to you when you ask for something new to be put in place. People will give you what they perceive you're willing to settle for. So let's look at that a little bit here. When I'm talking about creative constraint, one of the things that we look at here is a dynamic that occurs when you're asking people to do things they've never done before and they're faced with what they experience to be as reality. It causes pressure. The more you push, the more pressure there is that that's exerted. Now, pressure is an interesting thing. Coal actually does turn into diamonds when there is sufficient pressure applied to make that transformation possible. And in an organization, that metaphor is a very apt metaphor, because what happens if you as a leader continue to insist that people behave today as if that ideal state, that future was already here? They look around and they go, but it's not. And you go, I understand that it's not, and I insist that we behave today as if it were. What would we do differently? That's the creative dynamic. Innovation and creativity don't exist typically when there's all kinds of resources available. I mean, literally, necessity is the mother of invention. I mean, we can look at, airplanes. We can look at interplanetary exploration. Gravity exists as a constraint, and for much of human history, the story was that we can't get off the ground because of this thing called gravity. We didn't get rid of gravity, just in the same way that you're not going to get rid of resource constraint in your organizations. But what you can do is you can let it not be an impediment. You can let it be a catalyst for innovation, a catalyst for creativity. As a leader, you want to be in a position to stand on the side of the result that you want and insist that people come across that line that they imagine is in the way, that line of resource constraint, that line of constraint that doesn't, in their mind, allow for what it is that you'd like to see possible being made into reality. This is the law of creative constraint. And learning to utilize it is absolutely crucial to your effectiveness in moving your organization to breakthrough performance and to higher levels of productivity and actually profitability. So this is a particular law that we're going to spend a fair amount of time looking at in the Hidden Laws of Leadership seminar that we're going to be conducting in Los Angeles, May 13 through 15. You'll be getting, again, some more information on that as it draws a little bit closer in time. Until then, I want to thank you for listening, and I want to thank you for watching. This is Blaine Bartlett, and these are little segments on the hidden laws of leadership. Have a good day. Until next time.